Warning: Superpower review is intended for a mature viewing audience. This video may show images that are not suitable for kids under 13 years old. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kevin Vidini here for Superpower Review, and thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Guys, we are going to be giving Venom issue number 28 a review. I am not alone today. I'm joined by one of my good friends from the IG comic family. I'm joined by Joseph Reed, aka Old Man Venom. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. It's always a good time talking about Venom with you, of course, so you're always more than welcome to come on. Before we get into Venom issue number 28, I want to remind you guys to please smash that like button if you like today's content. Leave some feedback in the comment section down below. And lastly, subscribe to the channel to show your support and for future Venom issue comic reviews. Also, I'm going to be giving away these 3 slabs right here once the channel reaches 2,000 subscribers, okay? So there will be 3 lucky winners winning one of these 3 slabs. So with that being said, let's get on today's review. Joe, there was a lot going on, and there's a lot to talk about in this issue. If you guys haven't watched our previous video, I'll leave a link to that video in this video's description down below, and you might want to watch that because you and I pretty much guessed a lot of what happened in Venom issue number 28.
Yeah, man, we pretty much did. Like I said, I had someone message me to tell me that we both called it. So, I feel like a lot of people already knew that was coming. But it's pretty cool for the first time ever to take a guess at something in the series and actually be right, because we're always usually so wrong.
Right. And now I'll admit, when you guessed that Matt Gargan was Virus, okay, I was, I didn't think of it, and I was like, it is right. And I think a lot of people had that same moment where they were like, damn, why didn't I think of Matt Gargan? So you were totally on point with that, but I feel like a good majority of us were on point about Dylan ultimately being Codex.
We talked about it a while ago, and shortly after, everywhere you looked, anyone that was talking about that issue, it was about Dylan and possibly being Codex. That was like I said, with the hair, the long hair, it made me think like he's related to Eddie somehow or another.
Right, exactly. So let's start breaking this issue down. So we pretty much start with the Hive with Codex. We see a venomized Doc Ock, and we have Virus, who we don't know who he is yet, but we do know at the end. But we have Virus in a containment tank, and they're trying to fit him with a symbiote. They're trying to perform symbiosis, and we notice that the first symbiote doesn't attach to Matt Gargan. I kind of wanted to pick your brain about it, but why do you think they failed at the first couple of attempts, and then finally at the end of the comic he actually ends up being attached to a symbiote?
Well, that for starters, Matt, since he was already a host to the Venom symbiote,
right,
when he got his Codex ripped out, he basically got a small portion of his spine pulled out. So I'm not sure if Carnage successfully took his Codex. So those guys were able to see that, something was going on with him already with all that. I did like how Doc Ock pointed out that it was like the symbiote was studying him, like examining him.
Yeah, so that's what I pretty much thought too, is because he had the symbiote previously, but I didn't know how that would add up to why a new symbiote couldn't attach to him.
I feel like his Codex removal wasn't successful. You know what I mean? So he might have still had maybe at least a portion of it still in his body that the symbiote was able to see. It makes sense. It was, like I said, I thought it was pretty cool that they did that.
Right.
It's not like the first symbiote just took him over. Like, it was like, hold up, something's going on here.
I think fans, and maybe myself included, that we really looked into Virus's equipment a little too hard, and I think Donny Cates wanted to do that on purpose to try to throw us off who Virus could be. But we find out that Matt Gargan went into the black market to find all of his tech, from the old Green Goblin tech and the War Machine tech. What did you think of that?
Like I said, man, I was a fan of Virus right away. Like at first glance, when Ryan Stegman first revealed the art so long ago, I didn't know what to think, but I really like that. And the way that they built up the whole mystery with it, it seriously did have everybody like speculating on who it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
I speculated pretty hard on the whole Lee Price thing, just simply because, like I said, he's mentioned in the writers column about, whatever. And he kept saying stuff in reference of like, oh, you would need an army to take me down. Like, you can't stop me. Like, he just kept saying army references. Just really made me think Lee Price. Like, they did a really good job with building up the mystery with him. It was definitely somebody that, like, the whole Venom getup, it makes sense that it was Matt Gargan. Like, if it would have been Lee, like, either one of them two characters, it just made sense.
So while that is happening, okay, while Matt Gargan is being fitted with a new symbiote, down in the sewers, we get a little bit of an origin of Annie in this universe. In this universe, Eddie Brock does go to the church, and he does kill himself. And she talks about how much she hated him for that, and how much she hated his dad for not supporting him. And the Venom symbiote sensed that and ends up attaching itself to Anne. What did you think about that part?
I thought that was pretty interesting because I definitely was wondering, like, what's up with Eddie Brock in this universe. They kind of made it feel like, especially with the reveal, like right away, something terrible happened to Eddie. I can't remember exactly who I was talking to, but they were wondering, like, if Eddie wasn't there, how was Dylan still born? I think they drew her in the fashion of the original She-Venom. So obviously, with whether Eddie's in the picture or not, whatever I guess Noel did through the Venom symbiote to Anne to impregnate her with Dylan was going to happen no matter what.
But that's exactly what I was thinking as well. And I heard a lot of that as well, and people how is Dylan in the picture if Eddie is gone? Well, she could have been pregnant, before he killed himself, but I was really thinking more of the lines of what you just said, that the Venom symbiote took over Anne, and Null somehow got control of the symbiote and, impregnated her with Dylan. I'm kind of surprised with everything that happened in Venom issue number 28, and seeing the origin story of how Anne gets the Venom symbiote, that it didn't jack up the prices of Bride of Venom, the first appearance of She-Venom.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it definitely didn't. I haven't noticed any type of over or anything like that. There's more of an Agent Venom hype itself.
And speaking of Agent Venom, what did you think of all of the cool agents that we got in this story? So we have Agent Spider-Man. One that just absolutely blew my mind, of course, was Agent Carnage. I think that was my absolute favorite. We have Agent Deadpool and Agent Mania.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to double check. And so, what did you think of these characters?
I thought it was awesome. It was definitely a badass mix of characters, but going back on it, man, just Agent Carnage. Like, yeah. I want to know so much more about that. They could release a mini-series of what led him to that point. And I think me and a bunch of other people would actually check it out. Like, I thought that was wild. I liked how Eddie right away was just like, why is he team? But it was the fact they have Deadpool, like, that was cool too. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. It almost reminded me of Venomverse, to be honest, that whole storyline.
It does. It really does. So that's a lot of what I was thinking when, they first revealed the Avengers and they're all symbiotes and whatnot. Like, it just feels like Venomverse.
I really liked how they kind of mix their suits with the Agent Venom suit, like, the whole like cross-matching. I really liked it. I thought it was very creative.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely wild. It makes me wonder, is there more of them that we still haven't seen?
It's possible, yeah. That would be cool. And another really big piece that I think that goes under the radar, and I don't know how you feel about this, but Flash Thompson of this universe created this team, and this team was trained by Rex Strickland. And I think that people are kind of like, this is going way under the radar, and people aren't like really talking about this too much.
It really is, and like the whole planet itself, from what I understand, it's the Rex Strickland situation where it appears to be human, but it's actual symbiote, and that's what everything else, all the Avengers are. So I thought that was cool how they tied that in. The fact that Agent or Flash Thompson was the president at one point,
that was cool.
Like I thought that was a great touch.
Yeah. Because like we said in the last video, like that is very him to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It just makes sense.
So then we find out we get introduced to these new characters, and of course it gets interrupted by Codex's henchmen, if you will, other symbiote related characters. So we have Juggernaut, Omega Red, Sabretooth, Wolverine, and the Thing. To see this whole universe and these people battling it out, and of course I love action in my comic books. That's just me.
Yeah, man. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but Juan Geddon, like his art style is perfect for action. It's got like a almost anime-ish, almost like a Cartoon Network, new age cartoon kind of feel to it. Like my friend said something, he's like, yeah, like Dexter's Laboratory, how the fight scenes were. Like his art has that vibe to it, and it's like really good with like the action because there's just so much action with all of this.
Yeah, and that's what, of course, what I love is the action. I'm in it for the action, and of course, story-wise. So the ending, okay? I thought the ending of the fight scene was a little bit weird. Okay, so Deadpool, of course, being the comic relief of the book, which I really enjoyed, he pulls out bombs. And he says like something like I'm gonna survive this, but you won't. And so like the thing is that those characters die. Okay, the bad guys die. Codex's henchmen are dead, and then Deadpool's gonna survive, but he's gonna lose his symbiote, right? I mean the symbiote's gonna die, right? Because all the rest of the henchmen are dead, right?
It seems to me like symbiotes are pretty much they're just on deck. You can go to the next convenience store and just buy one. Like everyone, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure, like if it does seem like there's more Agent Venoms to the team, and if there is, I'm sure they can probably do something to make his symbiote.
And then so after this, we finally get the reveal. Virus is Matt Gargan. He has the new Scorpion symbiote suit, which looks absolutely amazing. And I really love the new logo, the Scorpion/Venom logo. I really enjoyed that a lot too.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. I did like that. It reminds me a lot of when New Ways to Die, where he was the Venom symbiote and Osborn made him the Scorpion suit. It felt a lot like that. The whole mandible thing kind of throws me if I get it. I feel like they missed such an opportunity with that character though. Like we had the same design in Venom, if you remember. He turned into the Scorpion Venom, and then New Ways to Die, he did the same. So I feel like it's a third different take that's bound to change. If he stays like this, it's definitely going to change. But the fact that they have the virus suit, the fact that Codex hasn't destroyed any of it, like he wants to study it, he's keeping that suit around. So I'm keeping hope alive that somebody somehow or another takes this suit and that version of the character lives on somehow. But the symbiotes can bond to technology. We've seen it in Scorn in the Carnage series. Like they could have just that's what I was hoping, they would bond the symbiote to that machine and it became like this unstoppable thing. But I'm definitely excited that Matt Gargan's basically a symbiote again because he was pretty vicious. So I feel like as a like a villain for Venom, like they're going to be fighting all the time. So I'm down with that. It's just I feel like his look might end up changing.
I kind of hope that his look doesn't change, and I was going to ask you these questions too. Like, would you want Matt Gargan to stay like this with the symbiote suit? And are you happy that Matt Gargan is taking on the Scorpion suit and not the Virus suit? Would you have liked to have seen him stay as Virus?
Oh, I would have. Like I said, man, I would have loved to have seen him stay Virus, but like I said, I'm definitely excited that he does have his symbiote again, and it's with all the cosmic stuff going on with the Venom series and everything, or Earthbound villain, it's perfect.
Right. And so with this issue too, and this is going to be somewhat of the same question I asked you with the whole Price and the Bride of Venom, and of course I don't care about what books make money. Of course I'm not into it with the whole spec. I'm just in it for the good story. But do you think that this book will decrease the value of the first full appearance of Virus?
I'm not sure because I mean there's been a few. Red Goblin was very short-lived, and I feel like his first appearance is still, it's not a big money book. I don't think it ever really was, but still got the hype built around it. And true collectors in time, I always look at things long term, man, because in time it'll still retain value. And the Antitem, that was very short lived, but his first appearance is still, it just continues to climb.
Yep.
There's a chance, and like I said, because his armor's it, you would think Codex would be like, all this stuff is meant to kill me, destroy it, get it off, get it out of here. But he's like, still has it around. So if somehow somebody takes that suit and either becomes a good guy or a villain, and that suit's still running around in the comics, like, I feel like it will definitely retain some sort of value future-wise of the first virus, at least the suit,
Right.
And be a key. It'll definitely be a key.
There's a part where Matt Gargan is talking to Codex about how he was following Eddie Brock into this universe, and that's how they're here. And there's a point where Codex just gets triggered with hearing that Eddie Brock is here in this universe. And what is your thoughts on why he got so triggered about this name being called out?
I did find that fascinating, because if Ed killed himself before, and was taken over as the She-Venom symbiote, they've never met. Obviously, he knows who he is, so I guess he's holds some sort of like grudge that, my dad killed himself before I was born. It just doesn't make enough sense that he would just start like thrashing his own lab over the sound of his deceased father's name. I don't know. There's something weird going on with that for sure.
Yeah, the only thing I could pretty much think of why he got so mad about hearing his father's name is that he has like this hatred toward his father for, not maybe taking care of him or not raising him and not being around. That was the only thing I could possibly think of, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the story.
That, or just the fact that, he's probably blames him for all this symbiote stuff going on and whatnot.
True. Yeah, true. So, with at the end, we do find out that Codex is Dylan. And what do you think? Do you think Codex is going to be friend or foe for the future? Because I think he's foe right now, but I think eventually, along down the line, Eddie Brock and Dylan is going to have this, or Codex is going to have this huge epic battle. And, Codex is going to win. Venom's going to pretty much say Eddie's going to pretty much say his piece on why he wasn't around and blah, 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 and he's sorry. And something like that is going to happen. And I feel like that Codex could potentially go into our universe and help with this whole King in Black storyline. I don't know how you feel about that.
That would be super interesting, and that's a very good theory, Kevin. That was a very.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you.
That would be very interesting, because I like I'm almost the opposite of what you're thinking. Is I feel like you saw we just how he reacted to his father's name. So yeah. I feel like there's definitely gonna be a fight between the two, and if it happens, I feel like somehow or another, like Eddie accidentally or purposely kill him. And the fact that he keeps telling everybody he's fighting lately that you're lucky my son's right there because I don't kill in front of him, like, I think he's going to end up killing in front of Dylan, and that's going to mess with his, son Dylan.
You said something like that in the last video. I remember you saying that. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it makes sense, because if Noel's pretty much coming to Earth, and he's going to have his sights directly on Dylan, and if Dylan just watched his father, his it's, that might sway Dylan. It will make Dylan more susceptible to Noel, like, trying to sway him and whatnot.
Okay.
Whatever, no matter what, like, Noel's definitely coming after Dylan. Like, that's going to be a huge thing within this King in Black.
What if Codex is Null of that universe, but he's just called
very
Codex?
Possible. That's very possible too. And if that's the case, then once he does confront Eddie, like you said, I'm still waiting. I'm not completely sold on this character for reasons, and one of them is I haven't seen him do anything. So he's either going to mop the floor with Eddie, or he'll get Eddie to a point where he's about one's going to die. I feel like if they fight, one of them's going to die.
I gotta see this fight between Codex and Venom, because I feel like this whole fight between Venom or Eddie with Codex is going to be very, very deep and heartfelt, because that is pretty much a trope with Donny Cates.
Yep, and he's been talking about putting Eddie through it, the most emotional damage ever, and blah blah blah, and like that would make sense. That would, you know, if he kills Dylan in that universe in front of his Dylan, that's going to make his Dylan act weird towards him for freaking ever, possibly. So like that just, something's bound to happen, man. Like something's going to go down. Somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to get upset, and then those going to come to Earth, and then who knows what's going to happen, man.
Now, do you think in the next issue, in Venom issue number 29, that, you know, the Dylan that we know will figure out that Codex is him, or do you think that they're going to keep that information away from him?
I think there's a possibility, like, he'll probably learn it last minute. I don't think with Ann and Eddie both being there, and, you know, they're the symbiote masters of the universe, that apparently, like, they're going to try to, like, shield him and protect him as much as they can from all this stuff. But there's a chance he might find out in typical fashion, like, right at the end, like, say, Eddie does have to kill Codex right beforehand. Eddie might say something stupid, like, "You're my son," or, you know, something. He's going to say something that pretty much says it's your son, and, you know, he's going to blow the whole cover. So Dylan's eventually going to learn. I don't think that truth will be able to be hidden from him, that's his alternate self.
All right. So, Joe, let's get into the point where, let's get into really fast your likes and dislikes on this issue, and then let's, you know, do the tradition by giving this book a CGC grade review. So go ahead.
All right, so if I were to grade it right off bat, I'm going to say like either 9.2, maybe 9.4. Let's give it a 9.2. And that's just because be a lot of humor overlaid throughout all of this.
Okay.
And it particularly stands through with the artwork, which I'm a fan of, but this is supposed to be like a real gritty, dark storyline. So the constant type of humor just kind of bugs me. The whole fact that we still haven't seen Codex do anything besides pretty much talk like a god, Xerxes or whatever from 300. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like it just feels like it's about to build up to this huge thing. And we got a lot of action going on with there, but it's like, it just feels a little, I don't know, slightly drawn out with Codex. So that's, you know, I would like to see him get involved right away, kind of, than just slowly dragging on. But other than that, I mean, it's a great story. It's got a lot of action. There's a lot going on. It's not like, none of the issues feel like filler-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that, yeah. Now, I got to ask you, because last time for Venom issue number 27, you gave that book a 9.8. Why the huge difference between a 9.8 and a 9.2?
I'm just going ahead and say it. The fight between Virus and Venom, like, I could just read 10 issues straight of nothing but panels of those two just fighting away there, and I could die a happy man. So that had me like kind of happy. And like I said, that like in there, I even said that, you know, they showed Codex and that's about it. He doesn't do anything.
Right.
So now that we're on to the next issue, number one, they took a character that I particularly enjoyed and just trashed him and turned him into this symbiote scorpion. So like I said, we've seen that 3 times already with Mac. This is the 3rd time. So it's like, yeah, awesome, but like they, like I said, did it to him in Venom Inc. And I thought right then and there, like that would have been this. Like, okay, now he's got a symbiote again. He's gonna, and then they just immediately, you know, just dropped it all. So just a few things that, like I said, I definitely, after reading the issue, I enjoyed it. And I definitely would like to read the next one. But just, you know, just left a bad taste. Man, Virus is freaking gone, and we still haven't seen Codex do anything. And now we got the Scorpion symbiote version 3.0. All right, like let's get to it.
Right.
So
I understand.
That's why the grade dropped.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. So if I were to give Venom issue number 28 a grade using a CGC grade, I'm gonna give it a 9.4. Again, I really love the action in here with, you know, the agents fighting off Codex's henchmen. I like the origin story of this universe of Eddie taking his own life. I am bummed that Virus is no longer a character because I have to agree with you. I feel like that Virus makes a better Venom villain than Scorpion makes a Spider-Man villain, if that makes sense to you. I will agree with the whole thing with, you know, Scorpion getting this symbiote for the third time. Can we please make it stay? It looks awesome. It's fitting for the character. It looks so good. Don't take it away, okay? If we're not gonna have him as Virus, and if you're gonna give him a symbiote suit, at least please let him keep the damn symbiote. Dislikes about this issue was I felt like it was a little bit predictable about Matt Gargan being Virus and Codex being Dylan. You know, so I thought that was pretty predictable. And the last thing that I dislike about Venom issue number 28 is that Juan Gedeon is still on doing artwork. It's too cartoonish for me. And it's just something that it doesn't match the whole Venom artwork. It doesn't match the story, in my opinion.
Yes, and that's saying earlier. I mean, the guy's got talent. I'm not down him, but like,
right.
Ivan Cobello does so much. Like his art.
Yes.
His art is incredible. So like, I would love to see his version of that Scorpion. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Venom issue number 26 with Ivan Coelho was absolutely amazing. You know, so give me, you know, I'll take Ryan Stegman, Ivan Coelho all day over, you know, Juan Gedeon. And again, I'm not talking crap about Juan Gedeon, about his style. It just doesn't work, in my opinion, for the Venom stories.
I completely agree. And like, it's seriously not a disrespect thing. Like, it's not at all. It's just, between Ryan and Ivan, their style is just perfect for like all this stuff. And like I said, when you're able to portray humor through the art, and then everyone's kind of quips around, and Codex is all being like, and it keeps lifting his eyebrow up. It's just like,
yeah,
I don't want all that in here. Like, this needs to be serious. And I feel like that kind of balls out the character, and that's why I feel like Codex isn't meant to let. Right. I think you might see him almost take on a form of Null, and then, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I'm not sold on Codex.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I want to see what Ryan Stegman's Codex looks like, because I feel like that would be taken a little more seriously. And like you said, with the whole facial expressions, you know, you got one eye humongous and the other eye really squinty and small. And, you know, you have all these, like you said, like these like Dexter fight scenes where, like, you know, there's a point where Venom gets punched by Juggernaut and his neck is all stretched out. And he's like, you know, I don't know. That's not my thing. That's not what I like, you know?
Yeah, I don't want that.
If Venom's getting punched by the Juggernaut, I want to see something like what Mark Bagley does when, you know, Venom gets hit so hard in the face, you see his teeth breaking off his face and stuff. You know what I mean? So that's some of my pluses and my pros and cons about Venom issue number 28, and plus, of course, the agents that are in the story I really enjoyed as well, with the crosses between the Agent Venom suits and the characters that they're depicting. So guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Make sure you leave any comments you have in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like today's content. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future Venom issue reviews and to potentially win a free slab. So Joe, thank you so much for being on today's video, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Like I said, I'm always glad to be back here doing this, man. We'll just keep it going as much as we can.
So guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.